Thanks for joining us here at Functional Bliss, where Audra and Jessica will guide you through exercises and wellness techniques to help you live your best life every day. It's in the name, after all, Functional Bliss. Before you do anything else, click like and subscribe and ring the bell so you'll know whenever we put up a new video. To join our Blissful Gang for live Zoom classes where you can get more direct suggestions and encouragement, go to our website and sign up. Check the class description below for any equipment needs, grab your gear, and let's get started.
All right, so we're going to start down on the ground. We're going to start with some seated cat-cows. So sit on your butt, bend your knees, grab your knees or your shins. But we're going to do just a little bit of a fun add-on. So start with your cat-cows, just arching the back and rounding the back, and see how your back is feeling, see how your energy level is at. And then with that, we're going to add a little bit on. So we're going to inhale and lift the chest, round the back, and in that rounded back position, you're going to pick up your feet, find a little balance, set your feet down, and then back to that cat-cow. Round, pick up your feet, set your feet down, and then do it again. And Liz, is it me that you're having trouble hearing, or is it just you're making adjustments on your end? Okay. All right, so arch your back, round your back in that rounded position, pick up your feet, find a little balance. So it's a little bit of a hollow belly work, set your feet down and then back to it. So we got 1 minute on the clock. You do this work at your pace. If adding that little bit of a pickup of the legs doesn't feel good right now, leave that part off because we do have a V-sit later. But if it feels good to add that little bit of core work right away, round your back, arch your back as that rounded position with that little bit of hollow belly, pick up your feet, set them down, and then right back to it. And then you go for the pace that feels good. I just read an article this morning. I reread it this morning because I was tired last night when I read it, talking about stress levels and what depth of work you should do when you're exercising under stress. So if you're in stressful situations, if your holiday stress gets you or you've got work stress, it may actually be a little bit more beneficial to the health to do light, gentle, mindful exercise versus high intensity. So if you're in that holiday stress mode, think about taking your work with a little bit of a lighter depth. All right, that's time. Now we're going to take it into our halfway rollbacks. Finding a little bit of integrity, hands to the outsides of the thighs. Thighs push out, hands push in. We keep that integrity. We go halfway roll back, come back up, restack the spine. We got 30 seconds of work here, and then we'll take it onto the ground in our curl ups. So your hands push into the thighs, your thighs push out into the hands. We hollow the belly, we roll our way halfway back, and then we use that core strength to come back and restack the spine. Nice job. Ten more seconds. All right, now the next time you roll back, you're going to roll all the way down. Take your time as you roll all the way down. And then once you're down on the ground, now we're going to take it into that curl up. So fingertips are going to reach towards the heels. Think crunching position, but go with just that little bit of extra intention of pulling the abdominal muscles down and kind of scooping them up into the curve of your ribs. And then if you like doing that breath work, especially for your hip health, you're going to exhale as you curl up and inhale as you release back down. This is a warm-up moment, so you don't have to go super fast. Find that nice, good integrity of the work in your core and your center. And time, nicely done. Okay, next 30 seconds of work is going to be windshield wipers. So just windshield wipers with the legs for the first 30 seconds. So give your legs plenty of space to move, maybe step them slightly wide or step them slightly narrow if that's a better way for your body to windshield wiper. And then as much range of motion as you can find, swishing the knees from side to side. You might choose to stick with this, or at the 30-second mark, we'll roll into headband rolls. So if you know you're going to go for those headband rolls and you wear glasses, you may choose to take your glasses off, put them somewhere safe. We've got 5 more seconds of just windshield wipers. And then if those windshield wipers are feeling real good and now you want to take it into those headband rolls, you're going to keep your head connected to the ground, roll onto your forehead, windshield wiper the legs, roll over to the other side. We got 30 seconds here. Now, if you get there and the headband rolls are not for you this morning, come back just to the windshield wipers. But if headband rolls feel good, We've got about 12 seconds left. And time. Nicely done. Okay, now we're going to take it into some loaded arm circles. So you're going to grab the weights that feel the most appropriate. I would say go light, medium. If you're working on building up strength, start with your mediums, and then you might choose to switch to light if the mediums become just a little bit too fatiguing. But we're going to go big, long, strong arms, and we're just going to start to circle them around. So go for the largest amount of circle that you can go with for range of motion in your shoulders, and we'll reverse directions at the 30-second mark. If at any point the loaded bit in the shoulders feels like it's a little too much, then you're going to leave the weight off and just go for range of motion. But if it's all feeling good, go nice and slow, go nice and steady, and then think about pressing your belly down into the ground so we keep the rib cage nice and firm on the earth, and most of the work is coming out of the shoulders. And then you also are going to let your arms and your shoulders and your wrists just kind of turn and pivot in any way that feels appropriate. All right, when you're ready, reverse directions, go the other way. So I opted to go with my 5-pounders here because I am working on building up strength in my shoulders. So I'm looking for those big challenges, especially when I can find work in the shoulders. But I was shoveling yesterday and I noticed that still forearm and wrist strength requires a little bit more building up of strength for me. And as we come into snow shoveling season, we do want to keep our shoulders, wrists, and forearms nice and strong. Okay, that's time. Now we're going to take it right into our hip bridges. So feet about hip width distance apart. Load up your hips with the heaviest weight you've got nearby, and then we're going to just take it right to work. Exhale, lift your hips up. Inhale, lower down. We've got 1 minute on the clock. Take this work at your pace. If you like that little extra bit of squeeze at the top, pause at the top, squeeze your butt muscles, lower with control. So that big squeeze of those butt muscles is where that nice work happens in those glutes. And our glute muscles, our glute max, is that biggest muscle in our body. And contracting and releasing muscles sends anti-inflammatory and good feel-good chemicals through our body. So use that big butt muscle to get you lots of good work. And time. Nicely done. Okay, now we're going to take it into some alternating toe taps. So for some of us, it's going to feel just a little bit better to keep our feet, both feet on the ground, and then alternate your toe taps from here. All of the work, though, is going to come with the same integrity. So we want to keep our hip points pretty level. We don't want the upper part of the body wobbling all over the place. Now, if your toe taps feel really good and solid, and especially if you're not wearing a boot on your legs and that is going to add a lot of extra weight, you may choose to take your toe taps up in the air. But know that that boot, that some of us might be wearing a boot this morning, and those boots are heavy. So honor yourself. Do the work that feels the most appropriate. Legs up or legs down. All work is good work as long as you're not injuring yourself. If you went legs up in the air, for some of us, it's going to feel slightly better to have the belly button pressing down towards the spine. And for some of us, it's going to feel better to have a slight natural curve of the back. And then for some of us, it's going to feel actually a little bit stronger to crunch up just a little bit with the head, neck, and chest. So find the place where you feel the strongest in your center, where your back doesn't cry at you when you're doing your work. We got 22 seconds left. You got this. And time. Nicely done. Okay, both feet on the ground. Now we're going to drop the knees over to the right. It's going to be 1 minute one side, 1 minute the other side. So you're going to drop your knees over to the side, and we're taking it right into some oblique crunches. So if my knees are over to the right, My right hand is on my belly. My left hand is behind the head or to the side of my head. And we're crunching up and lowering down. And we want to feel that work happening in the side of the belly. So hand on the side of the belly is just to give you that little bit of feedback, but we've got 1 minute on this side. So take the work at your pace. Exhale as you crunch up. Inhale as you lower down. Now, if boot foot is giving you a little bit of extra space that you need to, take your blanket and cushion around your knees so it creates that little bit of cushion of space. And then as you do this work here, just check in with your handhold, the left hand that's on the side of the head. We don't want to pull the head up. We just want a light touch to kind of keep the arm out of the way, but we don't want to use the elbow to pull forward. We want to think about drawing the shoulder up away from the ground. 5 seconds left on this side. And time. Nice job. Okay, swing it all the way over and across to the other side. And then we've got 1 minute of work here. So now the knees are over to the left hand on the belly, right hand behind the head or to the side of the head. We crunch up and lower down. We've got 1 minute on the clock. Use your breath to help you on the effort. Exhale as you crunch up. Inhale as you release down. Ten seconds left. You got this. All right, that's time. Take it back onto your back. Now we're going to go with one hand weight. It's going to be an offload chest press. So we're going to go 30 seconds one side, 30 seconds the other. So one hand is empty, one hand is loaded, and then we're going to go for a wide chest press. So we're going to keep the elbows nice and wide, press up towards the ceiling, lower with control, but one hand is loaded, one hand is empty, and then we'll switch at the 30-second mark, but just kind of tune in and notice how just having that little offload, you want both arms to go up and down at the same even pace. You might feel like one side of your obliques is working just a little bit harder to keep you in that stable position as you feel that load on one side, but the other side feels empty. All right, when you're ready, switch your hand weight over to the other side and then notice right away, you might feel that oblique on the other side now kick on to help control and stabilize your center. Both arms moving up and down at the same even pace, but one hand is loaded and one hand is empty. Nice job. And time. Awesome. Okay, we're coming up to a seated position and we're going to use our theraband for a theraband seated row. So you're going to come up to a seat. Now, if sitting in this staff seated position causes a little bit of a rounding of the back of the body, which could just be about the way that our hips are set, put a little cushion under your butt so you have a nice, good integrity in your posture in the upper body. Take your theraband, wrap it around the bottoms of the feet, and then keep a good gentle bend in the knees just to kind of keep a good stance, a good stable position. And then we're going to pull the elbows back like you're scraping your ribs and then release nice and slow and controlled. We've got 1 minute on the clock. Choke up on your theraband as much as you can so you get good amount of resistance, but keep your feet and your legs nice and solid. Keep that nice tall upright position with the spine. Nice job. And then we're going to watch our head posture as well. So if we're looking down at our feet, now we're going to pick our head up, do a little double tuck of the chin. So we keep that nice good squeeze all the way through the back of the neck muscles and down into the shoulder blade muscles. You guys look amazing. Nice job. You're already halfway there. 10 seconds left. All right, that's time. Release your theraband from around your feet. Slide your feet in just a little bit closer. So now we're in that V-sit position. Now V-sit with the feet on the ground. We're going to lean back, twist and reach. But if that feels like you want a little bit extra challenge today, you're going to keep your feet lifted. You're going to lean back, twist and reach. So feet lifted, feet on the ground, totally up to you. Or if you brought a little blanket or cushion for your butt and you want just that someplace in between, put that soft position underneath your feet, and that'll create a slight bit of instability down under your feet. So to give you that mid-ground challenge. So maybe not feet completely lifted, but not feet completely down on the ground. And then if your upper body's not getting quite enough challenge, you can always take those light weights with you, do that lean back and reach. One hand is going to be loaded, and then you'll take it to the other side. I like it open-handed. I just like to feel that reach back and lean, but that feels good to me. Do the work that feels the most appropriate to you this morning. Fifteen seconds left. Now, you know I love that breath work. So it's inhale as we come through center and exhale as we lean back and reach. Nicely done. Okay, that's time. Now we're going to stay in a seated position, legs long out in front of us and legs as straight as you can get them to be without losing the good position of your body. Hands on the ground or hands up in the air. We're just going to keep them out of the way. It's going to be 30 seconds one side, 30 seconds the other. So you're just lifting the leg straight up off the ground and lowering it down. It's not about going for height. It's about working those hip flexor muscles. So if you're like, where are those hip flexor muscles? Place your hands right in your hip creases. Lift your leg up, lower it down. Hopefully you'll feel in that front pocket of your jeans area, you're going to feel that muscle contracting to do that work here. This is not easy work. So we're not going for a big grand kick of height. We're just going for control. Lift the leg up, lower it down, but try to maintain a good posture here. If there's a tendency towards rounding, sit on a blanket, give your butt that cushion. That's all just about your hip set. It's not about how strong your legs are. All right, switch to the other leg. Lift it up, lower it down. Notice one side might feel a little bit stronger than the other. Nice job. 10 seconds left. You got this. All right, that's time. Now we're going to take it right into our QL walks. So we're just walking our butt. Your hands are going to try to stay out of the way. You're going to walk your butt forward all the way to the front end of your mat. And then you're going to walk your butt all the way back. Try to keep your hands out of the way. But now if you're working on strength and your hands need to help assist, let your hands do what they need to do so that you find good work and start to build strength. But if you can keep your hands out of the way, then it's your QL muscles, your quadratus lumborum, and some of your leg muscles are helping you do this walking and working. And don't worry about what it looks like. Just worry about trying to find that strength. You're already halfway there. Nice job. Awesome, awesome. We got 5 seconds left. You got this. All right, that's time. Now we're going to take it into a high kneel position. But if high kneel is not going to feel good to you this morning, then you'll come into a standing. You're going to get the work either way. The high kneel is just going to give you that slight little imbalance, but if you like to cushion your knees, set your blanket down, cushion your knees, and we will want our hand weights for this one. So find your high kneel position. First of all, make sure that feels good. If it doesn't feel good on the knees, come up to standing. And then once you've got your standing or kneeling position that feels good, we're going to go palms rotate, flip up, out a little bit into a W lift, elbows come back down, swing in, flip the palms. Palms flip up, rotate out, lift up, lower down, swing it in, and flip the palms. So that's the work. We've got 1 minute on the clock. You're going to do the work at your pace. And then once you've chosen your standing position, whether that's in a high kneel or in standing, then you're going to add a butt squeeze. So the whole entire time we're doing this work, we're going to try to squeeze our butt muscles together just a little bit to keep them active the whole time. Nice job. There's a slight sense of firmness in the belly as well, just to hold and maintain that good sense of centering and connection, so you're not wobbling all over the place while you do this work, but keep that good squeeze in the butt muscles. You're already halfway there. You got 23 seconds left. Amazing. 5 seconds to go. You got this. And time. Beautiful. Okay, now we are coming up to standing. Now you could stay in the high kneel for this one if you want to. It's going to be a work with our theraband. But if you want to, come up to standing. And now we're going to take our theraband and drop it long ways down the back. And then your other hand is going to re-grab. Now we're going to go 1 minute of work, 30 seconds up, 30 seconds down, and then we'll switch our arm position. So for me right now, it's going to look to you like my right hand is up, my left hand is down, and we're going to stay like this for a full minute. But for the first 30 seconds, just my top arm is going to pull up and down, and my bottom hand is going to hold steady to create that resistance. So 30 seconds with the top arm pulling up, and then we'll switch the bottom arm at the 30-second mark, but stick with this arm configuration. So right arm up, left arm down, just the top arm is pulling up and the bottom hand is staying in a good, steady, stable position. If you feel like you're not getting quite enough work, you'll choke up your hands on the theraband so you create as much resistance as feels right to you. And then we do want to keep a slight firmness in our belly so that our ribs is not and our chest isn't puffing up too much. All right, now top hand's going to hold in that steady position, bottom hand is going to pull down. And that's the last 30 seconds of work on this side. All right, that's time. Take a second to release, shrug out your shoulders. Now, one side might feel different from the other, so you'll take a moment to just kind of wriggle things out, and then we're going to switch our hand hold. So now left hand is the top hand, right hand is the bottom hand. Bottom hand is going to hold steady, and the top hand is going to be pulling up. We got 30 seconds of work here. Keep in mind that one configuration might feel a lot different than the other, so go only to the depth of work on this side that feels right to your arms, to your shoulders. Keep a slight sense of firmness in your belly so that it's not big chest puffing up. We want to keep a little bit of a good posture here. Five seconds left, and then we switch to that bottom arm. All right, when you're ready, top arm is going to stay in the steady position and the bottom arm is going to be pulling down. And then if you don't find you're getting quite enough resistance, you just creep your hands a little bit closer to each other, find that good resistance, and then get the work going on that makes the most sense to you. And time. Nicely done. Okay, release your arms. Give everything a little shrug and a little wiggle. Now we're going to step our legs into a wider position and take it into a nice little either horse stance or sumo squat. So you're going to find a squatted position. That keeps the legs active and engaged the whole time. And then you're going to grab your hand weights. And now we're going to go with our elbows tucked in at our ribs. And we're going to do palm flipping again, but now we're going to add a wrist curl. So you're going to flip palms up, give a wrist curl, flip palms down, give a knuckle curl. So it's working out of the wrist. The forearms are going to stay in steady, stable position. We flip, lift the wrist, flip and lift the wrist. And then if you want just a little bit of extra work in between each flip, if you want to come up and down, come up and down. But if it feels good to just find that steady, stable work in the legs and let them work in that nice, strong position, go where you feel the strongest this morning. I'm going with my 5-pounders here, but if you've got anything going on, carpal tunnel or tennis elbow, a lighter weight might feel good as you rehab. And then as you build up the strength, then you might switch to a stronger weight. Nice job. 5 seconds left. All right, that's time. Slowly bring yourself up. Give your legs a little wiggle and a shake. Now, the next bit of work that we're going to do is going to be a squatted position, but we're going to go squat with the knees past the toes. So we're going to keep our feet flat on the ground, and you're going to bend your knees like your knees are going to go past your toes. So we're going to go only to a point where we feel maybe a little stress in the Achilles tendon, and that's going to be the end range of our work for today. But as we do that work, knees go past the toes, we're going to do a full range of motion bicep curl, rise back up and lower your arms. We've got 1 minute on the clock. Now, if you're like, my knees past the toes squatting game is on point and I want to go all the way down to the ground and then come all the way back up, by all means, do that deep bit of work. But if it feels better to find that little stress in the Achilles tendon and keep both feet flat on the ground, knees going past the toes is the range of motion that we use to go up and down stairs. So we want to keep that nice and strong. Three seconds left. All right, that's time. Now we're going to set one hand weight down. This is our last minute of working work, and then the last minute of our work is just a nice little stretch. So one hand behind the head, one hand loaded. It's going to be 30 seconds on one side, 30 seconds on the other. So it's just a little bit of a loaded side bend, but that hand that's behind the head, you're going to want to feel like your head is pushing into your hand and your hand is creating just a little bit of resistance, just so that we keep the back of the body engaged. So we're not trying to tip or round that shoulder forward. So go only as far into that side bend as you get good control through the back of your body. Nice job. All right, when you're ready, as you come back up through center, pass your hand weight over to the other side, switch, and then move it right over to the other side. Head is pressing into the hand. Hand is creating a little bit of resistance. Beautiful. All right, that's time. Okay, set your hand weight down. Last minute of work. It's going to be 30 seconds stretching on one side, 30 seconds in the other. So we're going to crisscross our ankles just as much as we can. And then we're going to walk down into a fold. Now, how far you fold is going to be like what feels good to you this morning. You can fold all the way down to the ground, or you can go for a halfway point. no matter what depth you go for, you're going to find some really nice work. So find a depth of a fold that feels good. And then once you're there, all you got to do is hang out and breathe. We've got 30 seconds of a hold. So just find a position that feels available and then breathe into it. All right, we're going to come up nice and slow so that we can switch the cross in our legs. So take your time as you come up and then recross your legs so that you get that crisscross to the other side. Take a moment and then come down, but go only to the depth. So one side might be a little bit different than the other. So honor this side, find your depth. And then once you're there, all you got to do is hang out and breathe. Ten seconds left. All right, come up nice and slow. Take your time as you come up. Uncross your legs, give your shoulders a little wiggle jiggle. Now we're going to go move right into our foam roller. So if you're sticking around for a foam roller, grab your foam roller and we're going to go long spine, but we will want some light weights. We want to do just a little bit of chest fly work this morning. So I know you guys hate to do the work and the foam rolling all in one, but it's good for us to have that little instability on the foam roller. So I promise you, I never ask you to do stuff because it's just fun for my mind. It's good because it's good for your body. All right, so set your foam roller down on the ground. Make sure your space is slightly clear. And then take your time as you come down, but have your hand weights available nearby so that you'll be able to grab them for a chest fly in that long spine position. But if you're like, I don't want to use my hand weights right now, I'm done doing my workout, then you'll just go open-handed and you'll find the work that feels the best to you this morning. Get your foam roller, come down nice and slow and controlled. And then once you're down on the foam roller, first we're going to start with just our arms out in that T position. So arms out nice and wide, palms facing up if you can arrange it. Go for 3 more cycles of breath, and then we're going to grab our hand weights and get the work out of the way so that the rest of it is just lovely and nice. So take that one last big, gigantic breath. And then grab your hand weights and we're going to move right into a chest fly position. So we're going to keep a little bit of a micro bend in our elbows. We're going to bring our arms together like a hug. We're going to keep our feet stable on the ground. So as you do this work here, you may find and feel that slight sense of instability on the roller. So keep a firmness in your belly. Keep your belly button drawing down towards the roller. Open and close your arms at a good pace that feels manageable and reasonable so that you can keep that stability on the roller. Your gaze is going to be up towards the ceiling. So once you've looked at the screen and you know what you're doing, now keep the back of your head, keep the back of your ribs, keep your tailbone connected to the foam roller. Open and close your arms at a good, gentle pace. All right, now we're going to switch it up just a little bit. So the next time your arms open up, set one hand weight down. Now we're going to keep it an offloaded position. So both arms are going to come in and out, but one hand is loaded and one hand is empty. So notice how that makes you feel on the roller. You're going to feel your core muscles kick on just a little bit harder to help hold and maintain that sense of balance. Go for 2 more if you can. This is more just a little bit to play around and feel that nice subtle difference that happens in your core. And then the next time you're up in the air, pass that hand weight over to the other side. Open and close your chest flies here. So one hand is empty, one hand is loaded, and then notice what happens in your center. Both arms are opening and closing at the same even pace, but you may feel your core muscles doing a lot of work to help you maintain that. All right, one more offloaded chest fly, and then set your weights off to the side and get them a little cleared out of your space just so you have plenty of room to move. And now we're going to go for some unloaded arm circles. So you're going to keep your body nice and stable on the roller. And then arms are just going to circle around, big, gigantic circles, circle in one direction. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, reverse directions and go the other way. Get as much range of motion here as you can find. Okay, now the next time your hands sweep around and they're in front of the chest up towards the ceiling, now we're going to go for a little bit of a swim. So one arm is going to reach up, one arm is going to reach down, and you're going to see if you can attempt to get your hands to touch the floor, the bottom hand and the top hand, and then meet in the middle, and then switch to the other side and see if you can get those limbs to touch the ground. Don't worry if you can't get them to touch, but we're just going to go for a little bit of a reach, like we're trying to find just a little extension through the upper body. So one arm up, one arm down, but we're still going to try to keep that good integrity on the roller. So we're not wobbling all over the place. Our head, the backs of the ribs, and the tailbone are all nice and evenly connected. Okay, now the next time your hands meet in the middle again, we're going to stay there. And now we're going to draw our scapular circle. So we're going to roll the shoulders around, down and back. And you're just going to roll the shoulders on the foam roller, almost as if at that midpoint, you're trying to squeeze the foam roller with your shoulder blades. So nice, generous roll around. All right, one more roll around. And then when you're ready, reverse directions, go the other way. Beautiful. One more circle around, and then arms are going to come back into that open T position. So palms facing up if you can, arms nice and wide, and just get that nice big opening through the chest space and take 5 nice deep breaths. And as you do those 5 nice deep breaths here, you're going to think about breathing into your rib cage. So think of your rib cage like an umbrella. As you inhale, the umbrella opens and expands. So front to back, side to side, we inhale and open the umbrella, exhaling, the umbrella closes back in. Take one more breath. Now we're going to take our time as we come off the roller. So you're going to slowly and mindfully roll off to one side. You're not going to fling yourself off. You're going to roll off carefully. And then once you're off of the roller, we're going to reposition the roller so that it's going to come across the bra line. So you're going to spin your roller sideways. And then if you had any of your gear in the way, just take a second to move anything out of the way that just might get in the way of you doing the fun work that you like to do. And then once you've got your gear out of the way, roller underneath the shoulder blades. Take a second to just readjust your hands, readjust your hair, because sometimes we get especially if you've got longer hair, sometimes it just gets a little caught up. So grab your hair, grab the back of your head, lean back over your roller, and then with a little bit of an exhale, crunch yourself back up. Inhale, lean over the roller. Exhale and crunch yourself up. Lean back over the roller. Exhale, crunch yourself up, and then we're going to just switch our handholds. So arms are going to cross over the chest, and then we're going to rock a little bit side to side. I find sometimes that the roller tries to escape out from underneath that shoulder blade area. So sometimes I have to do this little walk to bring it back down into position and then get back to my rocking side to side. Okay, now the next time you rock over to the right, just a little bit, lean in, and then like a little cat cow. So you're just going to lift and lower the elbows, or the back of the ribs are going to kind of just gently roll up and down. Take about 1 or 2 more cat cow here. And then we're going to take it over to the other side. So roll over and across, stay there, and then add that little bit of a cat cow action. All right, one more little cat cow on this side. and then come through center, switch the cross in your arms, come back to that little rock side to side. And again, sometimes that roller gets a little bit squiggly underneath you. So I do this little walking maneuver where I kind of walk it back down underneath my shoulder blades to get it where I want it to be. So always reposition it so it's in a good position and you feel like you're getting nice work. All right, now the next time you rock over to the right, come back to that little cat-cow maneuver. Beautiful. One more little cat-cow here, and then walk it over to the other side, and then come back to that little cat-cow maneuver. Awesome. One more little cat-cow here. Come through center. Make sure the roller feels good underneath you. Now we're going to roll over to the right, and you'll make your arms be in whatever position feels good, but roll over onto that right side again. But now we're going to pick the butt up and do a couple of rolls up and down. Beautiful. One more roll up and down, and then reposition. Come through center, get that roller in the place where you want it to be. Roll over to the left. Once you're there, pick up your butt and roll up and down. Nice. One more roll up and down, and then come back through center, hands behind the head, support the head. And now we're going to go big roll. So we're going to go from the shoulder blades all the way up to the tops of the shoulders. And you're just going to keep your head supported. You're going to keep your hair tucked up so it doesn't get steamrolled underneath the roller. Lovely. One more big roll all the way down from the shoulder blades, all the way up to the tops of the shoulders. And then the next time you come up towards the tops of the shoulders, reset your butt down. So now we're up maybe above that shoulder blade area just a little bit. Lean back over the roller. You might find a slightly less range of motion. Just go where you can go comfortably. Crunch yourself up. Lean back over the roller. Crunch yourself up. One more time, just like that. Lean over the roller. Crunch yourself up, and now we're going to reposition the roller so that's underneath the shoulder blades, but now we're going to go for that gentle back bend. So get it under the shoulder blade area, and now arms are going to lift up and overhead, and you're going to lean back just as far as you can. If your head touches the ground, let it. If it doesn't, but it needs a little support, then you'll tuck your hands behind your head. Find the depth of the back bend here that feels good. You should feel a little stretch or stress through the front of the body, a little bit of engagement in the back of the body. Take 3 more breaths here if you can stand it. Awesome. And then slowly bring yourself up. Take your time, but now we're going to roll over to one side, and we're going to get the roller so that it's underneath that armpit area or big muscle in the back of the armpit. So get the roller so that it's underneath that big muscle in the back of the armpit. And then we're going to just do some light little rocks forward and back. Nice. One more light rock forward and back, and then we're just going to lift up enough, move it down an inch or two. So we're just going to start to work our way down the side of the body. So move it down a little bit and then come back to that rocking forward and back. And we always want to be mindful in certain places. So bony landmarks, we want to be mindful about how much pressure we put on if we're on a bony landmark. Lymphatic areas, so armpit, groin, those kinds of areas, we want to be mindful that we're not putting too much pressure so it feels uncomfortable because we've got those lymph nodes there. But we do want to stimulate all of those areas. So we just want to be mindful about the depth that we go with. One more rock forward and back. And then when you're ready, lift up just a little bit, move on down, maybe an inch or two, and then come back to that rocking forward and back. So similar idea, like breast tissue, you want to be mindful there. Soft tissue of the abdomen, you'll be mindful there. You always want to just go to a place where it feels like good work, you're breathing comfortably, and you're discerning what feels good versus what feels awkward versus what feels painful. All right, one more rock forward and back, and then lift up again, move on down. And then once you get away from that bony landmark, so I'm still at the edge of my rib, so I've got that bony landmark there, but I'm going to start to move into that soft tissue as I move down. So you're going to just start to be mindful about how much body weight leans on, because bony structures will help support. Unsupported structures need that little extra something. Lift up, move down. For me, I'm in the soft tissue now, so I'm going to be a little bit lighter on my body weight. All right, one more rock forward and back, and then lift up again, move it down. So now I'm really in that soft tissue for myself here, but the depth of the work and your length of torso might be different from mine. Rock yourself forward and back with as much motion as feels good. And then if you're not already there, once you've done one last rock forward and back, definitely get that roller. So now it's underneath that soft side body tissue. And now we're going to come into a low lying position. So that bottom arm is going to low down. Your head's going to rest on that bottom arm. Your top arm is going to reach up and overhead. So now we're adding a stretch or stress to the open side, upper side body. And then once you've got your arm up and overhead, you're going to see how does it feel to slide your top leg back a little bit, like you're reaching it towards the back edge of your mat. So it creates just a little bit of extra stress in that front of the hip. Find the side body bend that feels good to you, and then take 3 nice big breaths. Nice. Okay, come up nice and slow. Now, before we release and take that work to the other side, we're going to get that roller so that it's underneath the curve of our rib. So we're going to lean into the curve of our rib. What we're looking for is a compression in the diaphragm just a little bit. So lean in. I've got the curve of my rib on the edge of the roller, and then I'm feeling that slight bit of compression. And then we're going to come back to that umbrella breathing in the rib cage. So think of your rib cage like an umbrella. You inhale and the umbrella expands in all directions. As you exhale, the umbrella closes back in on itself. Go for 2 more cycles of breath if you can. All right, and then when you're ready, lift yourself up. Now I'm going to flip myself around so I'm facing out to you, but you'll spin yourself around in the way that feels good. But we're going to get that roller so that it's underneath the armpit area on the other side, but in that big muscle to the back of the armpit is where we're hoping to get most of our body weight on. So see if you can find that big muscle in the back of the armpit. And then once you're there, rock yourself forward and back. All right, one more rock forward and back, and then we're going to move it down an inch or so. So lift up just enough, move the roller down. And then once you found a nice new place to be, rock yourself forward and back. Along the way, you might find places that don't want the rocking, that they just want a little stillness. So as you go down the side of your body, be sure to honor what's going on. Lovely. One more rock forward and back. And then when you're ready, lift up, move that roller on down just a little bit further, and then come back to that rocking forward and back. All right, one more rock forward and back, and then move it on down again. And then notice as you start to get, like I'm still at the edge of my rib here, so I've got a little bit of bony structure. But as we start to get into that soft side body tissue, then you'll just be mindful about how much body weight you put into it. All right, one more rock forward and back. And then when you're ready, lift up. Now